Hello there, my name is Martin Henley. This is the Effective Marketing Company YouTube channel. And if you've spent a second here, you will know that I am on a mission to give you everything you need to be successful in your business. Now, as far as I'm aware, the only way for you to be successful in your business is by being more effective with your sales and marketing. So not only on this channel am I giving you everything I know about sales and marketing, I'm also giving you everything I can extract from anyone who will talk to me about sales and marketing. So today's guest has been managing events since 2003 for businesses including Oracle and CNBC in Saudi Arabia. He is Director of Customer Advocacy and Community Engagement at the Insider Reshape Conference, which attracted this year such luminaries as Barack Obama and our very own Jonas Dannefield, which is how come he is speaking to us today. When I asked him, is there something quirky I can tell people about you? He told me that he has lived and worked on 3 continents. He is an eternal optimist. He loves to be in love, and he can get as fluffy about things as we could possibly imagine. Today's guest is Steve George. Hello, Steve.
Hi, Martin. Great to meet you. By the way, I do see only myself in here in case you wanted to put yourself right next.
Yes, you're there so that I can put your name title up and your job description. That's why that will happen. So people know exactly who you are and where you are from. So we have to go quick today. We've only got 45 minutes and it normally takes longer than this. So your specialty subject today is customer marketing.
Cool.
And you don't think this gets enough airtime. And I'll be honest, I'm a little bit shocked that I thought there only was such thing as customer marketing, unless you're talking about marketing to existing customers. Is that what you're talking about?
Marketing to existing customers.
Okay, good. So you market to get customers, and then you should market, if you're sensible, to your existing customers. Okay, good. We're going fast. So just to reiterate for everyone, the format is very simple. There's only 5 questions. First question is, how are you qualified to talk to us about customer marketing? The second question is, who do you work with and how do you add value in their lives? The third question is, what is your recommendation for people who want to get better at customer marketing? And the fourth question is, what should people read? And the fifth question is, who will you throw under the bus who might enjoy to have one of these conversations with me? So question number 1, how are you qualified, Steve George, to talk to us about customer marketing? Before we do that, really, is this an issue? People don't know that they should be marketing to their customers?
You'd think it should be evident, right? You should be marketing customers, but let me paint the scenario for you a little bit. We have tens of thousands of customers. SaaS companies today, right?
Yes.
Let's take the field of tech, HR tech, fintech, martech, go in any kind of tech. Only 15% of these companies have a function called as customer marketing. And I'll tell you why that makes a bit of a difference, right? These are the companies, this 15% I mentioned about, they're the ones who've got a defined objective, strategy, goal that they want to achieve with this function. The rest of them have, it rolled under the general marketing function, which is great, but there's just so much for you to do. We are in a hyper scaled, hyper growth model of business today. So if I was going to 2002 when I started work, it was a very different landscape, right? You didn't have the headache of, okay, are they going to stay? Are they going to leave every single year? That question was never there, because once you invested in a technology, they were going, it'll take time for me to learn something different. It'll take time to integrate it to my existing processes, get the team skilled up to do all that. Today is not that. Today, people can change technology within a 6-month period, 3-month period. It takes 3 to 6 months to use Insider in any company, any size, any business model, right? And that's as long it takes for a company to be lost to another business, right? And we hear this all the time. Why does this matter? Let me bring that also. So let me paint you the picture a little bit more deeper. In a SaaS company with a customer marketing function, they are the ones who know what their customer needs. They know who they're going to get those testimonials from, those assets from. They know who they're going to have as a referral for another sales deal, right? And this is where it matters. These customers don't want to just keep giving and giving and giving back to a business that's supposed to be giving back to them. These customers want to know that you are thinking about them, their business, their KPIs they need to hit. So within Insider, we have broken that down to I have my advocacy, I have my loyalty part. The advocacy part is where we've got the top notch advocates giving us peer reviews on G2 Gartner, doing those amazing analyst interviews on Forrester, etc. We've got those events that we do only for our customers or for a larger audience, where the customers are like, yeah, I want to speak about, how we're using Architect, how we're using Smart Recommender, and that's important to us. That's the advocacy part. The loyalty part is where we are giving back to our customers. Do we know what training they need, what skills they need to be that need to be developed? Do we know how much of the product that we are, asking them to use are they aware of? Can we help them by giving them better trainings? Can we kind of do a pairing, almost like a dating scene, but we do pairings based on, what is this customer trying to achieve? Are they interested in growing to a different market? Would they be willing to, from Singapore, willing to speak with someone in LATAM because they have set up their business model that way, that they want to, speak to others in Brazil or Mexico or the US? So this
Oh,
is the difference between the two.
okay, good. Good. Okay, so just so people know, because I don't know actually, so just so I know, can you explain to me what Insider is? So you are a SaaS provider, and then also this Insider Reshape Conference and maybe some of the other events that you're involved with, just to give us a bit of context. And then I am desperate to speak to you about the subject of customer marketing, because this is the first time I've ever heard it described this way. But I absolutely want to have that conversation.
Sure, sure. Let me explain Insider. Now, Insider is, wow. When I joined Insider in 2019, I was going, wow, this company exists. It was a marvel to me. And what it means is, in 8 years, this company with six founders, our CEO is a lovely woman. She basically, with the team, took this company to 28 different markets. We are a MarTech company. We're a MarTech platform. What does that mean? Anyone can be a MarTech platform. True. We serve over 800 brands. You could think of the global brands like IKEA, Lazada, to Samsung, Nissan, to the local brands like Madeira in Brazil, to Ingatlan in Hungary. So we work with all of them. How do we work with these high growth startups to enterprise brands? Um, Now, customers, if I take customers right now, your consumer, for any and every B2C brand, they are fragmented across different digital platforms, right? So I, as a consumer, I'm taking myself as an example right now, but you're in Bali, so you could think of that as an experience as well. Consumers want to interact with brands where they are comfortable. It could be from the comfort of their home. It could be from a metro where they're traveling to work or back. It could be on a mobile app if you're lucky to get the customers to download your app and engage with you on that. Or it could be on social channels like Facebook or WhatsApp or email, let's say, if you've got a lovely loyalty based subscriber base. Uh, what we do as Insider is help create that journey for the customer, whichever platform you're on, whether you're online, whether you are, on Facebook, whether you're on a website, whether you're on an app, whether you're on an email. We create those personalized journeys for our customers with trigger points, with what is the business need for that particular season, that product launch, for that particular month, for that moment. It's all about the moments that matter for customers, and we are there to help our customers get those personalized journeys to their customers at scale. I hope that makes sense.
It makes sense. We're going to have another
I-
conversation another day about that whole
I'll,
thing,
I'll
because that sounds
delve
quite
deeper into
exciting.
that. Yes.
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 Okay, good. So Okay, let's not go open that can of worms. I'm really interested in that idea. So, is there? Okay, let's not open that can of worms. Customer marketing. The issue for me with marketing, in as much as there is an issue, is that it is too fluffy.
Ooh, good.
And the issue with that is that it has a reputation for being too fluffy, i.e., it doesn't deliver value, or it doesn't deliver a discernible value. This is the
Good.
understanding of marketing that I am at war with, because there are two metrics that take away that excuse altogether. The one is the cost of customer acquisition cost. So, what I tell people is if you are proactively marketing, you are in the business of buying customers. Of course, you need to be careful about talking about buying people in that way. I'm not saying that, you know, you are
Yes.
buying the opportunity to have customers. And then the second metric is lifetime customer value. So, what people
Good.
don't know is that in corporations, in the top 500 businesses in the world, the average cost of customer acquisition is somewhere in excess of 30% of turnover. So
Yes.
essentially, a third of what you spend in your business, a third of what you make in your business, goes into acquiring customers. And most businesses don't even know that they're doing this, so they don't have that cost in their minds. So literally, if they're selling at a 20% margin, they're losing 10% every time they take on a customer. That's the first part of the equation. The second part of the equation is lifetime customer value, which
Yeah.
is what you're doing, which is customer marketing. There's a thing that I quote over and over and over again. At the beginning of the noughties in the UK, what the government did, in the way the governments do, is they employed a load of just past it middle-aged men who might have been company directors, etc. And they sent them out as consultants, government paid for consultants, to consult with small businesses. And they called that Business Link. And they did a study that found that it is 17 times more expensive to find and win a new customer than it is to sell to an existing customer. So, having said all of this, this is why I'm desperate to have this conversation. I've got an idea of why it doesn't happen. I'll tell you this because I've spoken too much. So I'll say this one thing and then I'll get out of the road. I'm much more interested in what you have to say. People don't speak to their existing customers because they think your face dropped like a stone then. Because they think if people are continuing to give them money, then some weird hoodoo has gone on and they shouldn't mess that up by making the customer aware that they are still taking their money. That's everything I think about this. Now you tell me about customer marketing.
All right. Let me paint. Let me share a little bit more data here. Right. The reason you take 5 times more time to sell to a new acquisition customer is they may not know you well enough. They may not have heard of you. They do not have any references to your technology, your products, right? So this is where that's that one big challenge there. This is where customer marketing really plays a huge part. Okay, and this is the advocacy part I was talking about. So let's say you've got into a new market. Let's take UK as an example, right? You've worked with the UK's. Let's take Company X. Company X has another base in Singapore, right? A very smart business decision Insider did was they focused on Asia first, moved into Europe, and now, of course, across the Americas. So what was really smart for us is winning the customer base in APAC, Singapore, right? And using that knowledge, that working knowledge with a particular customer, saying, hey, would this be applicable to someone in Europe? This is where customer marketing really comes into play, right? We see this all the time at Insider. Customers across geographies are recommending us to each other. So now you see how that acquisition cost goes down quite a bit.
Yes?
The second part you asked about is, okay, Steve, now why are we not selling to our existing customers more? This is the conundrum. This is something I don't get. Every investment guru on the planet will tell you 90% of your investment comes, sorry, 90% of your revenue comes from your existing customers. If you're not allocating at least 10 to 15% of your budgets, at least, and I say this, to retaining your customers, to upselling to your customers, to expanding some of those opportunities, to cross sell other products, you're hitting yourself, in the backside, because there's this base of customers who are willing to work with you, who believe in your product, and you just need to tell them what more they could do with the existing set of products you've got, and that already is a great revenue model. Now, of course, you have to still, acquire new customers, and this is where marketing, breaks off a little bit. The reason why marketing is a lot of fluff, and this is something I've been, you know, kind of putting the screws to as well, is because we don't know our customers. There's a general model of marketing where let's just spray and pray that somebody out of the 15 million people we've just reached out to is going to realize that we have a great product, versus let's draw out personas. If at Insider, we have different levels of communication with those who are in senior management to those who are using the product or in the managerial executive levels. So why would I want to mix that kind of messaging if it doesn't hit the mark?
Yes,
Does that answer some of those questions?
it answers some of those. The thing is, we're both answering the same question, which is, why is this so stupid? Why does nobody do this? Because for me, like, what I tell people is that, like, people want to talk about, oh, this, I'm not that sort of person that does that. Let's talk about the secrets of marketing. There's no secret of marketing. Do some marketing is
So
kind of the secret of marketing. But if there is a secret to marketing, if there is a question at the core of every marketing initiative for every business on the face of the planet, is what is the value that we are delivering? Who knows the answer to that question?
I love this question, by the way, and I'll tell you something that Insider has done right. So at Insider, uh, the powers that be all decided, hey guys, look, marketing is great. We've been getting an amazing pipeline of leads. Everything else is great, but let's turn marketing into a revenue generating engine, right?
Right.
This conversation was what I've been waiting to hear from everybody, right? So by default, if you look at the early 2000s to, let's say even till 2010, the idea was marketing's job is to get 25% of the leads to my sales guys.
Yep.
From there, marketing can do simple touch points, simple nurtures, make sure that I'm creating enough, uh, fluffy assets, as you call them. It could be a ebook, it could be a brochure, it could be an event collateral, it could be case studies. That was all great. But as you get into 2015 and now, because you've had this unfortunate case of the pandemic turning into endemic, and the way people are working, and this is why SaaS has got this extra boost, I would say. It's just accelerated a lot of those digital transformations, which should have been anyways been going in 2022. Should happen. What's happened is people have realized, company CEOs have realized that if marketing is not driving revenue, I can downscale my marketing quite a bit. I don't need 15,000 events out there if I can make do with 10 webinars, if I can create roundtables, right? And that shift in mentality has changed the way we perceive things. Now, this has brought two problems. One, marketing is completely external facing, which is we are driving, or most SaaS companies are looking at just driving more leads, more acquisition, more collateral to make sure we are the number one out there. That's the first problem. The second problem is a lot of the CMOs are not aware that they need to focus and put time into creating a customer marketing strategy. That's the two challenges that is becoming apparent, right? You will see a lot more customer marketing job descriptions right now. By the way, if anyone's interested in joining Insider in the customer marketing team, I'm hiring. But yes, if companies are not aware of this, it will become evident very soon. This is the year where we are pivoting slowly but surely towards creating these decisions, these strategies that we need to focus more on our customers. You can't just do a roundtable a quarter or a annual catch up to say my customers are happy. They're not, because you're not serving the individual customer's needs. If you don't have a customer marketing function, you don't know what trainings they need. You don't know what kind of assets they require. You don't know what kind of upsell content they need or cross-sell content they need to know about a particular product and how it's served others in their industry, in their geography.
Yeah, I'm 100%
Some more
with
of
you.
those questions, yeah.
So the answer to the question, who knows what value you are delivering, is your customers. Because there isn't a customer. I mean, there might be there might be some, but the vast majority of people, businesses, don't continue to pay your invoices unless you are delivering value for them. So what goes on in the world, I think, is marketers sit in their silo, scratching their heads. I wonder, well, no, before it gets to marketing, product development sit in their silo, trying to imagine all the challenges that the market might be facing and how to fix them. Then marketing sit in their silo, wondering about how they're going to develop messages, who they're going to target, and what messages they're going to develop, and how they're going to land them. Then salespeople sit in their silo, thinking, well, how on earth are we going to sell this product? We're not getting leads. And for me, the alternative to this, which is clearly much better, is a virtuous cycle where you win a customer because however you win that first customer, by luck you manage to hit on something that addresses a challenge that they have. Now you have the ear of that customer, and they might tell you about other challenges that they might have that you could develop products for. And they will tell you what the value of those products are, which informs your messaging and your targeting. And then you send your salespeople out to make it as easy as possible for them to buy this thing and hear about more of the challenges that they might be having, which then feeds your product development. So it just goes round and round and round and round and round and up and up and up forever. Like, I'm glad you told me you're an eternal optimist. This isn't the year that this is changing, brother. Like, it might be happening in your business, but this has never changed in the history of time. And I don't believe it's changing now. If anything is happening, it is a fad that will be completely forgotten in 8 months' time, because businesses refuse the beauty of this logic, the sensibility of this process, because for some reason they want to put all these things in all of these silos. You know, I was selling software at one time in my life. We had boffins creating stuff, solutions, and then it's like, go sell it. And we go talk to people and they're like, it's not what we want. We want this and that and the other. And then we go back to the business and say, you know, they're not actually into this, but we had a really nice lunch and they told us that they need this and this and this. And they're like, you're not in product development. Don't listen to them. They don't tell the boffins. You know, this is insane, this situation. This is insane. The alternative is a virtuous cycle. You know, yeah, sorry, I'm on one because I really feel
No,
strongly
no,
about
no.
this.
No, and you're right? So a lot of my business is to talk to other SaaS vendors as well.
Right.
That's the way it is, right? I love events. I love, generating content for events. That means I get to talk to a lot of people. And
Yes.
of course, I'm in customer marketing, so I speak to all my customers as well.
Yes.
Um, a general problem SaaS companies will have, and this is a management problem. If your product marketing, if your product development, if your marketing, if your sales and your account or your customer success teams don't talk to each other, your business is doomed to fail. You are doomed to have high churn rates. You're going to have very low retention rates. You're going to have a lot of customers constantly complaining. You're going to have your own team complaining because nobody's listening to them, and this is working in silos.
Yes.
Um, One of the lovely things I think I've seen at Insider, and this could be just because I saw it for the first time at Insider, is the second I joined the company, and this is for all of our regional marketers, the customer success team, the accounts team, the account managers, the marketing, the sales guys sat together. We have these monthly and bi-weekly meetings to make sure we are serving our markets really well. My job becomes even easier when this happens because customer marketing is a function that sits between sales, marketing, customer success. And it is being fed a lot of content from product marketing because that's the company's directive of how they're moving forwards. Product marketing and product development take a lot of feedback from customer success teams because they are the ones who are boots on the ground, working with customers day in, day out. This cycle is, if it's not created in a SaaS company, you cannot be the next Adobe. You cannot be the next Insider, right? And I say this very openly, and just to bring that, eternal optimist. There's the one thing I really loved about a conversation I had yesterday on my podcast with Ankesh Agarwal from Modular for Thing, and he said, "I don't need to change the world. I just need to be able to influence one person." I go by that strategy completely. If I can even change one person's mind this year to include a customer marketing function in their companies, I'm at a much better place than I was last year. And because this domino effect will pick up, right? It's like Uber. The first company, I think Uber was still the first company, but the first company that said, okay, everyone can be a taxi, everyone can be a rider, everyone can be a driver. You've got a car, you can drive from point A to point B. They started that, and then everyone else picked up and all that lovely stuff. Delivery companies, it was UPS, FedEx, DHL when I was growing up. Nowadays, you've got so many more of those delivery companies. There's a lovely new concept called as dark stores now, right? These are all coming up because the market is evolving, and it takes one person to push that, make that small change, and then others pick up. I'm not the first person to take customer marketing, by the way. I'm not, but I'm a huge advocate to make sure your customers' experiences come before everything else, and that is the only way for SaaS to survive.
Yeah, but I think this goes way beyond SaaS. This is,
True.
I mean, I think probably SaaS has a better approach to marketing than, because you have the margins, because you have the yield. There's no limit to how many times you can roll out your software, for example.
Yeah.
So I think this goes way beyond SaaS. But I think there's data. Is there data about how many softwares are bought by corporations and never implemented?
I used to know this back in 20. So I used to work for this company called LifeRay.
Yeah.
Lovely company. It's the American story, right? Started off from a garage, grew up into this big company. It's across the globe. I did know this in 2010, 2013. I cannot tell you today how many softwares are there, but I can tell you from personal conversations with a lot of my customers back then, was they would buy a product because the head office said so, right? They couldn't use it because they didn't have the skill sets. It didn't match the market. There were some legalities behind not being able to use the product in those markets, which the head office was not aware of when they bought or purchased the product, and tried to push it down. And this is the unfortunate part of customer experiences too. There is no one, and this is a lovely part about customer marketing, another segue there, is you need to also be culturally sensitive to what works. If I do a webinar today on WhatsApp for marketing, right? It's great in Europe. It's amazing in India, but the majority of Asia is not ready for it, right? Australia uses SMS marketing today.
Yeah.
It's also another product, but they use SMS marketing. They don't care about WhatsApp. So I cannot push the same content down there as well. I can't do a webinar, with the same effect in Vietnam and hope to do literally a translation of that event in the UK. And this is where you have to change your model of work. The same way you have to change your technologies that you use or the channels you use. I would say channels, not technologies, but change the channels you use to communicate with your customers. Whether it's B2C or B2B, it's the same thing. The human psyche, the human way of connecting to things is always going to be the same. You're going to be just as impressed with an amazing experience, fine dining, etc., as another person anywhere else in the world. But it's the point where that makes a difference. So if I'm a customer who's pissed off, I'm about to churn, I don't really like anything about this product, and I'm saying, hey guys, look, I want to give you this, amazing experience going to Fiji or Bali, it will not make a difference if I don't understand what is causing that problem. And that's where customer marketing really sits in, is to understand how do we create those touch points with the customers at different levels without, you know, uh, without trying to create our own agenda and say, okay, I'm only going to do events because that's all I want to do.
Yes. It was. There's a conversation going up this Tuesday. So where are we now? It's going to be like the 20th, 21st of February, with a guy called Jamie Bader, and he was selling high-level software in Australia. And he said he did a survey. I don't know how they did it, or he had access to a survey, and it was the top 5 objections that salespeople face when they're selling software technology, and it was something like salesperson's not listening. They can't meet the budget. Something else. But in that 5 was, we don't believe we'll ever get this implemented, which kind of comes full circle to where we started, which is this idea that businesses don't believe that they're delivering value. And in that instance, if they provide the software and it never gets implemented, or it doesn't get implemented properly, or never gets used, then they're clearly not providing any value. So yeah, so this 100% makes sense to me. I'm interested in
Just to touch one point on that, Martin. Now, within SaaS, and this could be the old school way of thinking versus what's being done right now, right? So we recently purchased a few different products for ourselves, and I was looking at the onboarding process between what we do for our customers versus what I'm getting as a customer from another SaaS vendor. One thing that we do at Insider is there is a period of getting the first campaign out, right? So your onboarding process is, let's get to identify all your business KPIs in the next 3 months' time. Let's draw the map on how we're going to get there. And this is what our account managers do. This is what our customer success managers do. They identify the biggest hurdles in being able to implement that 3 month program. Because face it, when you have a new product, you're not going to think of the whole year from a executor's level. Your product, so your year worth of strategy comes from your decision maker. So this could be a CMO, this could be an e-commerce director, etc. The person who's going to execute it is only thinking about the next 3 months, because I need to learn a new product. I need to be able to use this and make sure that my boss doesn't think I'm useless at this job, right? So this is understanding your customer. If you can get that 3 months right, the rest of your journey with your customer is smooth sailing, because you've created rapport, you've created education, you've trained them to be able to use this product by themselves, and you're there to help them. So we do these business reviews. We make sure that our customers are always succeeding. At Insider, we call our customers partners because their success is our success, and it's not separated.
But I think you are blessed, Steve, because you have found yourself in a company that thinks like this. Because my experience is, from my career working in tech companies, working in all kinds of companies, and then me running my business since 2005 and working with, Lord knows, 1,000 different businesses, is that this isn't their attitude. And this is why I don't think this is the year where this
Yeah.
changed. You are blessed because you found yourself in this situation. And I would fall over if more than 1% of businesses actually had this same attitude, because my experience is the opposite. And they're not even understanding marketing, let alone customer marketing. Do you know what I mean?
True.
I think it's a bit of a disaster. I'm feeling under pressure. I want to ask you about these events and this one, because we have to finish now in 10 minutes. This Reshape Inside a Reshape conference where you had Barack Obama speaking. So you were director of that. Is that right?
Correct. Let me touch upon why we brought this up. And this also comes back to the service attitude, the experience culture we've got at Insider, right? This is 2020. We're in March. We go into lockdown. And all of a sudden, the whole world starts changing, right? You start hearing about furloughs. You start hearing about, uncertainty in the job market. You start hearing about businesses shutting down because they don't know how to deal with this. There's this slight digital pivot, and then there's a rush and race to it. That was 2020 for us. I will touch on two things here. One, you're right, I am blessed to be working at Insider because we were one of the few companies that chose not to lay a single person off. In fact, we did not lay a single person off. The company had a very strong culture towards their employees. Now, I also believe each employee is an ambassador. Now, what happened here and why we created Reshape is we started talking to our customers. We started talking to our community of prospects, those we are trying to sell to, and ask, how can Insider help? There was one question that a lot of my close customers, who I really have that interaction almost on a monthly basis, said is, Steve, you've got a lot of events experience. Insider's got a lot of amazing customers. Can we create something that is able to bring all these uncertainties in one place, and can we discuss about this? Now, this didn't come from me. This came from our senior management, right? From the point of that conversation till execution was 6 weeks. In June 2020, we put together one of the biggest leadership summit on the planet. 2021, and you mentioned this before, there's only 1 degree of separation between people these days. Having President Barack Obama, having Sir Martin Sorrell, right, one of the gods of advertising and agency business, to every single person. We had 240 speakers last year across 90 countries. We had 15 or 16,000 attendees. I can't remember the exact number. On the days of the event, it was breathtaking. But it all started because we wanted to serve our customers and we wanted to bring to light some of the uncertainties and discuss them. And I won't say there was any solution that came out from the event, but the discussion led to changes, strategic changes, process changes, and changes in how leadership worked across CX, customer experience, that's our bread and butter, across leadership, because they had to understand the value of investing time, money, and training their employees and using technologies, to a new, community we've started called Shimarkables, which was a byproduct of Reshape. All it did was it enforced the idea that we need to invest more time, energy on developing the skill sets to the lovely women in digital and CX. And to that extent, we are now running our first Shimarkables webinar on the 2nd of March with the global CMO of Netflix, Cosma St. John. So, it's just these conversations that we keep having and trying to add value to our customers and to the community that we serve.
Right. I watched yesterday, and I've got a bit of an issue with Gary Vaynerchuk. I hope he's not a mate of yours.
I do know Gary, yes.
Okay, so the issue I've got is that it was a thing he did a couple of weeks ago at a Sage conference, Sage World conference thing.
Yeah.
But he was saying to people, just do a podcast, just do that and then you'll be successful, kind of a thing. He's not exactly saying that. I've said this to people myself. I've said, like, the opportunity of social media is to step into the media's shoes and be that step closer to your market, to your customers. And I still kind of believe that, but Gary Vee did put my nose out when he said, just do that and you'll be successful. The point is, you've done this on a grand scale. You've stepped into the shoes, not even of a media, but of an events organizer in your industry, and you are that much closer to your market. So the only point I want to make about that is that there must be value in that for you to have done it twice, so that's really good. Man, we've got 5 minutes left and we've only done question number 1.
We'll do a follow-up to this. I
Let's
promise
do a
you
follow-up.
we should do. Yes, we should. But what can I leave the audience with? What can I add which I have not added in the next 5 minutes?
You're asking me?
Yes. What would you like the last message from Steve to be for this particular podcast?
I think we're going to have a whole other conversation because you've just taken the lid off things this time around. So you have customer success teams, and you have account management teams, and you have sales teams, and you have customer marketing.
It's a fairly new division within Insider. It's growing, yes, but we have taken that first step a year and a half ago, right? So
Yes.
it's still growing, and I would say there's a lot we can do, but yes.
Okay, right. Man, I don't think there needs to be a final. I think if we've landed that message today, your example is clearly demonstrating the value of doing this. Maybe you could give us a sense of a sense of the kind of value maybe that you have achieved in the time that you've been in this role. That might be useful.
Yeah. Okay. So we started this conversation with there are tens of thousands of SaaS products out there. You can throw a shoe in the crowd, and you're gonna don't throw a shoe, but you're gonna hit someone who's working in a SaaS company.
Don't assault anyone on our advice. We won't be there when you go to court.
Please don't. Exactly. It's only figurative, guys. Do not take it literally. But in the last year and a half to 2 years' time, we have propelled Insider's advocacy to a point where we are number one. You can look at any chart out there, whether you're on G2, you're on Gartner, you're on Forrester, you're on IDC. We are there. We are up on the chart. We're number one, and that's not because yes, Insider is an amazing and fantastic product. I don't doubt that, but our customers have stepped up and said, you know what? I love the experience with Insider. I want to talk about it. That's achievement number one.
Yes.
And that took us about 2 years, right? It took us about a year and a half, 2 years' time. Second one, our upsell revenue, I still say it's in its infancy, but it's getting there. We've started doing ABM ebooks and ABM marketing to our existing customers, which is a huge achievement. Because before that, if you look at any part of marketing, it was always ABM ebooks for new customer acquisition. It takes you literally 2 days to put an ABM ebook together if marketing and sales works together with customer success. 2 days. You can do it for every one of your accounts within a quarter if you've got a huge database of customers, right? And that's achievement number 2. Achievement number 3. Today, I can call my customers friends and partners because we have that relationship with them. And this could be any level, right? And this is not just Steve George, the customer marketing person. No. This is every single person within our marketing function. They are customer marketers themselves. So yes. It's that shift in mentality, and that is a third achievement, I would say, is what we have.
And the thing is, your best salespeople are your customers. When they go to people who know and trust them and say, this has delivered huge value for us, then people believe it. which is what I need you to do for me now. I need you to refer me to 2 people who will come and endure one of these conversations. You and I are going to have to do a part 2, so we're going to have to schedule that. Who do you think might enjoy to have one of these conversations with me?
I have 3 of them, if you're interested. So,
Yep.
someone I really think you would enjoy speaking to is Martin Moreau. He's a programmatic genius. He used to be at Friesland Campina. Now he is at a company called Borzo in Netherlands. It's in the delivery tech space. David Bolsher, David Boschler, I apologize. He's the VP of APAC for Content Square. He's done an amazing business growing the B2B business, the SaaS business in digital experiences in all of APAC. Brilliant guy. Uh,
Excellent.
Third one would be Anurag Gupta from ADA. Agency side, one of the few independent agencies still existing on the planet. He's a fun, creative mind. He's a great leader again, but he's also taking the business. He's the chief strategy officer at ADA, so he's taking the business and the customer experiences of the business to a new level as well.
Excellent. That would be brilliant. Can I ask you to put together like a little introduction on LinkedIn saying I've done this and I enjoyed it or otherwise, and it would be great if you could do it, and then I will pick it up from there. Okay, we're going to have to say goodbye, man, but this has been too short. So we will definitely do this again because you've just put a head full of questions in my head, so now it's full. So we will do this again shortly, if that's cool.
I look forward to it. Thank you so much for that, Martin, and it was a pleasure to be on the show.
You're an absolute legend. Thank you so much, Steve.
Cheers. Have a great time.
You too. Cheers, bye. Okay, I'll stop the recording there. Okay, man. Thank you so much. It's cool, but there's just so much I want to ask you.